You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, how y'all doing out there today? You know I missed you when we're not talking. All right, I have got a lot going on. There's always a lot going on, especially right after North Korea launches a missile. I mean, let's just get that straight. Let's just set that one straight right now. Now, of course, all the usual suspects issued all the usual condemnations, but I got a couple of extras that I pulled. I have been busy working up until the last second. Yes, I didn't even notice it was 9 o'clock until I hit that button. That's how busy I have been working on getting audio from today's UN Security Council hearing. And that's what I actually want to lead off with, because as soon as I track down which file it is, because I'm doing my usual half-baked prep. Found it. But this was a briefing. I'm going to lead off with part of, because trust me, we don't have time to listen to the whole thing. But part of a briefing that was given by a member of the United Nations team. In other words, he's supposed to be nonpartisan. He's supposed to be neutral. So let's take a listen to some of what he had to say, and this goes into some of the technical details about yesterday's North Korea ICBM launch. And FYI, guys, North Korea brought back the Pink Lady, and if you're a regular listener to my show, you know what I said that means. They only bring her out of retirement for the big stuff. Because this wasn't another launch of the Hwasong 14. This was the Hwasong 15. Bigger, better, stronger, supposedly. All right, let's take a listen to part of this briefing that was given to the UN Security Council.
And I now give the floor to Ms. Jeffrey Feltman.
Mr. President, members of the Security Council, according to the official news agency of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the DPRK, and various governmental sources, at approximately 2:48 a.m. local time on 29 November 2017, the DPRK launched a ballistic missile, which it termed an intercontinental ballistic rocket Hwasong 15. The missile was reportedly launched from an area north of Pyongyang, covering approximately 950 kilometers and reaching an apogee of around 4,500 kilometers before impacting into the sea in Japan's exclusive economic zone. These parameters indicate that, if flown on a standard trajectory, the missile as configured would have a range in excess of 13,000 kilometers.
All right, we're going to pause that right there, and I'm going to translate kilometers into miles. Because, well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't speak kilometers. So, I just typed in, grabbed a converter online. 13,000 kilometers translates to 8,077 miles. Guys, that's pretty far. All right, we will let the briefing continue.
This is the DPRK's third test of a ballistic missile of apparent intercontinental range in less than 6 months, and its 20th ballistic missile launch this year. The DPRK, again, did not issue any airspace or maritime safety notifications. The official media claimed the DPRK was now, quote, capable of striking the whole mainland of the U.S., end quote. The official media also claimed that the DPRK had, again I quote, finally realized the great historic cause of completing the state nuclear force, the cause of building a rocket power, end quote. Mr. President, this is the 13th time the Council has met to discuss the DPRK in 2017.
13 times. Now, I'm going to leave the briefing there because basically he yells at North Korea for not abiding by the sanctions. Womp womp. No surprise. There's no surprise ending to this manuscript, is there? Now, I do have another UN audio clip, and yes, most of my audio clips today are good old UN audio from a variety of speakers. So, but then I'm going to be bringing in some stuff that they didn't discuss. Now, this was at today's press briefing when the spokesperson for the UN Secretary General read his statement.
In a statement we issued last night, the Secretary General strongly condemned the launch of yet another ballistic missile launched by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. This is a clear violation of Security Council resolutions and shows complete disregard for the united views of the international community, he said in the statement. The Secretary General urges the DPRK to desist from taking any further destabilizing steps. The Secretary General reaffirms his commitment to working with all parties to reduce tensions. And this afternoon, the Security Council also scheduled a meeting on the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and that is scheduled to take place just after 3 p.m. consultations on Lebanon.
All right, so yes, I probably could have cut that a second or two shorter, but the UN Security Council, and this is what I said, did you hear the time? He said it was going to start at 3 p.m. after consultations. They didn't start until probably 4 something, maybe 5 something. I'm going to speculate real quick here. Those consultations went longer than anybody anticipated. They really did. And I don't know what else to say other than I'm guessing there was some tension. And I'm not making that one up. Because there was a lot of stuff that was talked about, and we don't have time for the hours of audio that I have. Trust me, I've got about an hour and a half sitting on my board. You don't want to hear them banter for an hour and a half. And I'm not going to subject you to it. I do have good old Nikki Haley. Boy, was she on fire. I could have played 15 clips from her. We'll start with this one.
Last time we spoke in the Security Council about North Korea's development of nuclear weapons, the United States made clear that the future of North Korea was in the hands of its leaders. If they chose the path of peace, the world would live in peace with them. But if they chose the path of defiance, we would respond appropriately. The choice, we said, was theirs. Yesterday, the North Korean regime made a choice. It chose to feed its nuclear aggression. It chose to thumb its nose at the civilized world. It chose to challenge the patience of a world united against its recklessness.
Yep. I'm going to have to agree with everything she just said in that clip. Now, you know I've been chasing information on the defector. Well, I think Nikki Haley let a little cat, and it's a small cat, but I think she let a cat out of the bag on this next clip.
Just last week, the world was given a stark reminder of the barbarity of the North Korean regime when one of its own soldiers fled the country. Even more than the dramatic video of the soldier's escape, more shocking was the soldier's medical condition unrelated to his bullet wounds. While being treated by a South Korean medical team, doctors discovered that the soldier had parasites and uncooked corn kernels in his digestive tract. Clear evidence that the North Korean regime is unwilling to properly feed even its own high-ranking military troops. This is the incomprehensible nature of North Korea.
I think she said it perfectly. They're not even feeding their military troops in pursuit of nuclear weapons. Come on, people. Come on. It ain't that bad. Well, actually it could be. Once I get finished discussing some of this, I'm just going to go through and read some of the headlines. Here's one more Nikki Haley clip. And like I said, she was hitting home runs. She spoke for 9 minutes. I would love to have played her entire 9-minute audio, but as much as I love her, I couldn't, unless I get her on for an interview, she's not getting the whole show. All right, let's go.
Yesterday's missile launch was more advanced than previous launches. No one can doubt that this threat is growing. No one can doubt that North Korean dictator is getting more aggressive in his obsession for nuclear power. Yesterday, the regime declared itself a nuclear power, saying that it, quote, completed the state nuclear force tipped with a super-large heavy warhead capable of striking the whole mainland of the United States. But the North Korean regime missed something very important. As we have said before, being a nuclear power comes with certain standards. It comes with being responsible enough to know that you don't threaten other countries with nuclear weapons. You don't starve your own people in order to fund nuclear weapons. You don't bully and play games with nuclear weapons. The regime has shown time and again that it doesn't want to talk. Kim didn't even speak with President Xi's envoy when he was sent to talk to the regime.
I didn't know Kim didn't even speak with him. That is thumbing his nose in a big way at China. Now, I do want to remind people what the UN North Korean diplomat had to say a few months back.
I am proud of saying that just 2 days ago, on 3rd of September, DPRK successfully carried out the hydrogen bomb test for intercontinental ballistic rocket and its plan for building a strategic nuclear force. The test is part of normal activities according to policy line of the Workers' Party of Korea to simultaneously push forward economic construction and building of nuclear force. The recent self-defensive measures by my country, DPRK, are gift package addressed to none other than the U.S. The U.S. will receive more gift packages from my country as long as it relies on reckless provocations and futile attempt to put pressure on the DPRK.
Okay, so combine that with the article that I read yesterday off none other than the KCNA propaganda news site, that the North Korean nuclear program is aimed squarely at the United States. And I don't know what's going to happen here. I literally, as much as I we all, if you haven't, if you're a new listener to my show, you will know that my very own husband is in South Korea wearing the uniform right now. Yes, he's there serving his country right now. And no one wants peace more than the soldier that is looking at going into battle. And like I said, today I felt like prepping audio. I was drinking from a fire hose. There's tons of it. And I do mean tons of it. Now, got a couple other clips that we will get to in just a few moments. Because there is something I want to point out. On November 13th, when that North Korean soldier defected, North Korea itself broke the armistice agreement. Now, other than finger waving and yelling at them over a megaphone because they won't pick up the phone at the DMZ, I have no idea what's going to come of this. I truly don't. But I can also tell you that you've heard me discuss the Pink Lady. She is an old retired newscaster who always wears a pink on North Korean state TV. And she's been retired for many years. However, they trot her out when it's huge news. They trot her out when it's absolutely major news. They bring her out of retirement. And like I said, they didn't launch the Hwasong 14 like many people thought they did. They launched a new version called the Hwasong 15. Now, you combine that with the fact that the soldier that just fled was sick and ill, and there's no doubt in my mind who would win this war, despite what the North Korean propaganda feeds to its own people. Now, North Korea hasn't stopped there. They have punished some of their own military because of this defector. And one of the military leaders his last name is Hwang. His department was in charge of making sure soldiers like the defector are properly indoctrinated and never contemplate fleeing. And this isn't the first military defection this year. This is the third. Not to mention the ambassador, one of the North Korean ambassadors to the United Kingdom that defected with his entire family last year. So North Korea is suffering some real big black eyes, and they're on a real public stage. And you control, I just did a quote news search on one of my favorite search engines. I came up with everything from limited time to prevent World War III to North Korea claims it can nuke anywhere in the U.S. to questions such as why did they suddenly start doing this again, to have diplomatic options run out. Now, I'm going to say that Secretary of State Tillerson has said he will keep pursuing a diplomatic solution up until the bombs start falling. And that's pretty admirable. Now, I've got a bit of some other audio. Actually, I'll do work on some audio over the commercial break because we are just 3 minutes away, and I will have some more of it for you on the other side. But I think it is. I've got one more Haley clip I'm going to try and grab on the fly. She was hitting the whole thing out of the park time and time again. I believe this is her.
It has emphatically said it will not eliminate its nuclear production. And North Korea is in clear violation of multiple Security Council resolutions. We are once again at a time of reckoning. We have some options. First, we should continue to treat North Korea as the international pariah it has become by taking its UN rights and privileges away, including its voting powers. Second, we know the main driver of its nuclear production is oil. Through sanctions, we have cut off 90% of North Korean trade and 30% of its oil. But the crude oil remains. The major supplier of that oil is China. In 2003, China actually stopped the oil to North Korea. Soon after, North Korea came to the table. We need China to do more. President Trump called Chinese President Xi this morning and told him that we have come to the point that China must cut off the oil from North Korea. That would be a pivotal step in the world's effort to stop this international pariah.
So, evidently, we are now pressuring China in a very public way to cut off all oil to North Korea. After North Korea snubbed its nose at China by not even meeting with the special envoy.
As I mentioned, many countries have made some big economic and political sacrifices by cutting ties with North Korea. They did that to serve the peace and security of all of us. We now turn to President Xi to also take that stand. We believe he has an opportunity to do the right thing for the benefit of all countries. China must show leadership and follow through. China can do this on its own, or we can take the oil situation into our own hands. The dictator of North Korea made a choice yesterday that brings the world closer to war, not farther from it. We have never sought war with North Korea, and still today, we do not seek it. If war does come, it will be because of continued acts of aggression like we witnessed yesterday. And if war comes, make no mistake, the North Korean regime will be utterly destroyed.
Okay, I think that pretty much sums up exactly what would happen. Now, there's always a few more things I could say about this. But I have reached the bottom of the hour, and it is time to pay those radio station bills. So, I am going to take a moment and try and get some audio pulled together. well, actually about 5 minutes, try and get some audio pulled together, and I will see you on the other side.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. Now, I was able to get one more good old North Korea condemnation prepped. Like I said, all the usual suspects put out all the usual condemnations, and I could probably go rattle off a list. Maybe if I actually get some extra time, I'll make a mashup. But there were some things I don't have the audio prep for, but I am going to talk about. Maybe I'll try and work on that audio for another show later this week. But this was what Japan, and what's important about Japan is that missile that was launched landed in Japanese exclusive economic zone waters. They have fishermen out in those waters. North Korea did not send out a notice to airmen or a maritime notice that they were going to be doing this, which is considered normal for international safety when you're going to be sending something either into that high up in the air or into the water. It's considered an international norm to do it. North Korea has never done a proper notification. Now, let's take a brief listen to what Japan had to say. And reminder, this is the Japanese ambassador to the United Nations, and it is actually the voice of a translator.
Japan lodged a strong protest against North Korea immediately after the launch and condemned the act in the strongest terms. Japan demands that North Korea immediately cease all ballistic missile launches and nuclear development programs and provocations. Japan will never tolerate a nuclear-armed North Korea.
I think that about says it. I mean, really. It's one of those... How much more blunt can you put it? Now, I have been checking some of my favorite news sources about this missile. And you know I've got a few that you guys probably have never heard of, so that's why I don't bother naming them. But I take them as credible because they're from the region. The United Kingdom summoned the North Korean envoy to protest the launch. Now, while that doesn't sound like much, it actually is significant in diplomatic terms. It's one of those, we just called their ambassador on the carpet. Now, I'm not sure what audio this is. Let me take a quick listen.
You may.
All right, excellent. Thanks a lot.
Nope, never mind. I don't know what that is, and we're just going to leave it. I will sort that one out in just a moment. I will sort that one out later. I have no idea what that audio is. Yeah, you don't want to see the 45 audio files on my desktop right now. I am not joking you. I have 45 audio files on my desktop, and that doesn't count a whole bunch of other things I got that I've already saved. So, and you wonder why some days I'm sitting here going, yeah, which audio file is this?
The week on...
Okay, that's yesterday with Donald Trump. Yeah, we're just going to stop chasing audio for a few minutes. But anyway, it is...
Delegation also...
That was me hitting the wrong button. That was loaded and prepped, but did not need to hear it. Now, I want to remind you guys of one thing. Nikki Haley is not sure how much more the UN Security Council can do. And several months ago, she made this statement at a White House press briefing.
What we are seeing is they continue to be provocative, they continue to be reckless, and at that point, there's not a whole lot the Security Council is going to be able to do from here when you've cut 90% of the trade and 30% of the oil. So, having said that, I have no problem kicking it to General Mattis because I think he has plenty of options.
And I think that may be where we're headed, although it is the last place I want to see us go. Now, back to some of the other things. There are clear differences in the appearance of the Hwasong's 15's warhead and the 14. The connection between the first and second stage and the overall size. The Hwasong 15 is bigger. It is round, it's relatively blunt. And the Hwasong 15 is estimated to be able to carry 150 to 200 pound payload. Estimated. Now, they're still using the same fuel. I've heard conflicting reports as to whether they can use solid or liquid fuel with these things. If they're liquid, that means they have to be upright. That's what makes the difference. So in other words, you have to take that missile out to a launcher, stand it up on the launch pad, and take 2 hours to fuel it. Now, I've also read reports that it can handle a 500 kilogram payload. I don't know. I'd have to pull up my translator again to get that into pounds for you. But 500 kilograms, pretty good size. I'm working on it. That's 1,102 pounds, friends. That ain't small. Now that's re-entry vehicle and payload. Basically, every part of the continental United States is now in reach of a North Korean missile. I have been looking all over to see how the re-entry vehicle performed. And I have yet to find any indication of how that re-entry vehicle performed. Because I don't want to be the bearer, harbinger of bad news, but that is the final step they need, is that re-entry vehicle. That, and they may still be working on trying to make it a smaller, lighter bomb, but that's perfunctory. Now, let's talk submarines. Sinpo South Shipyard. North Korea is on an aggressive schedule to deploy its first operational ballistic missile submarine. Wow! Yeah. And there's a Sinpo-class submarine and a submersible missile test stand berthed at this location. Now, they've been using the test stand, but they haven't all at the same time. But what's been interesting is there's been satellite imagery put out of new pressure hull components that are much thicker and look to be much stronger, so this submarine could potentially dive deeper, further, and longer. That is not good news. Okay? I mean, what can I say? There is nothing we want North Korea to develop. Now, the Sinpo class is an experimental ballistic missile submarine. And it is currently in dry dock. Thank you very much. I'm happy it is in dry dock. But none of us know, because North Korea is such a closed-off nation, how close they are to completing this project. The last thing, and here's my speculation, they're going to work on that submarine, and it's going to suddenly jump in leaps and bounds, just like their missile technology has. It is going to jump in leaps and bounds. It is because they think they've got the missile, but what if they could circumvent the need for that re-entry vehicle by getting the submarine right and sailing a submarine within a couple 100 miles of our coast? I don't know for a fact, but I'd be willing to suspect that Cuba would be a willing partner in playing support for them. Cuba, my friend, is 90 miles. They got stuff that can already go 90 miles. Now, granted, that's 90 miles to Florida. You want DC, okay, so 2,000 miles. They got stuff that can do that too. That's why we're always saying Guam and Japan are in danger. That's why we say Japan and Guam are in danger, because they already have the technology to do this. Now, I've mentioned that Moon is a dove. However, the leader of the opposition Barun Party raised pressure on President Moon on Thursday to remain open to military options as strategic cards to counter North Korea's escalating nuclear threats. Yes, we are now talking South Korean politics. I don't care about Senator Silly or Congressman Cuckoo. Everybody else can talk about them. I'm going to talk South Korean politics. Now, South Korea did do a show of force launch of the after the Hwasong 15 launch. And it was launched around 3:15 in the morning, Seoul time. You've heard how far this thing can go. Now, of course, the South Korean government has ruled out a nuclear option, sticking to its non-proliferation principle. Because part of their reason is they want a nuclear-free Korean peninsula. Now, this is not an unprecedented thing. New Zealand is a nuclear-free nation other than nuclear medicine. And even that isn't manufactured there. It's manufactured elsewhere and brought in. So, nuclear-free nations are not... New Zealand, for example, won't even let a U.S. nuclear-powered vessel into their waters. Not even for disaster relief. So, now, Kim Jong-un has been out to this shipyard I was mentioning previously. I don't know how long, but North Korea has released photos of him at the shipyard. And also, the shipyard itself has gotten an overhaul. It got a new T-shaped dock. Now that may not seem like much, but what it would allow is a longer submarine to dock to berth there, because the submarine no longer has to park nose in to the pier. It can pull up alongside it. They also have several new modernized buildings, and there's construction on at least one, possibly two more buildings at this shipyard. This is insanity, my friends. North Korea would rather starve its people. And I watch North Korean documentaries and interviews all the time. And we'll never know whether the North Koreans truly believe their propaganda. Now, of course, they will all say so on camera because that they believe it, because anybody doing an interview in North Korea is always accompanied by a minder. But, like I said, I'm a little worried here. I predict that North Korea, in the next 9 to 10 months, will say they are done with their nuclear program and say that they have the ability to do whatever they want. And that's not a position we want them to be in. Whether this means we have to go do a preemptive strike or not, I don't know. But what it means is we can't allow this to go unchallenged. And I want to remind you of something Admiral Harris said a few months back.
Well, I don't know if those missiles can actually hit what they're aimed at, but like horseshoes and hand grenades, getting close is all that's needed when you're dealing with nuclear weapons.
Yep, close is all that's needed. And my friends, I am the last person that wants war. I want peace. But I don't know how the world can live in peace with someone who wants nothing but war for his own political propaganda reasons. His citizens have been taught, citizens of North Korea have been told that the U.S. invaded North Korea. North Korea still holds one of our military vessels in Pyongyang today. It is the USS Pueblo, and the Navy has not stricken it from its records. It is used as a propaganda tool by North Korea. Personally, if we go to war, either sink the Pueblo or bring her home, guys. Because I'm sorry, they don't need one of our ships sitting in their country. Alright, I have one more thing I want to touch on. And I am just looking for the show prep on it. And I know you didn't hear a big stack of show prep today because, well, it was the same stack I had yesterday. I just didn't get to read it all. And I am just thumbing through that same stack of show prep. Now, I can't find it. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I got so much paper on my desk, I can't find what I'm looking for. So bear with me for just a second. And to answer the question in chat, my desktops know better. But I'm working on starting a special segment called Good Guys with Guns. And while it isn't international and it isn't military, it is Second Amendment. And as many of you know, that is an issue near and dear to my heart. All right. 2 good guys with guns stop a shooting spree that left an auto shop worker dead and another paralyzed. And this was dated November 28th. Police said a 28-year-old armed man armed with a handgun and multiple magazines on his person wandered into an auto repair shop in Rockledge, Florida, the day after Thanksgiving and began firing in the parking lot. The gunman killed one shop employee and paralyzed another. But 2 other employees, both concealed carry weapons permit holders, fought back with their own guns. And police said if not for the brave, quick thinking of the employees, this could have been a lot worse. Mr. Bailey, the suspect, had multiple magazines on his person. He was intent on doing harm. The employees stepped up. Now, I'm going to have to say, way to go, guys. All right, folks. I am just about out of time here. Yes, I know I have a couple minutes. We are going to take it and cover a couple things I have yet to cover tonight. All right, first, thanks to all my loyal listeners. Thanks to any of my new listeners, whether you listen via podcast, live, you join me in the chat room. I'd love to see you in the chat room. Feel free, come on over. We're friendly in here, I promise. Hey, sometimes I tell you little bits and pieces of things in the chat room I don't put out on air. Now, here's another cool thing. You guys can email me anytime. Jesse's POV at KLRNRadio.com, just like the title of the show. I love getting mail from listeners. Good, bad, I don't care. You like something I'm doing? Tell me. You don't like something I'm doing? Tell me. Now, I've reached out to a couple of unusual sources trying to get some interviews. I don't know what's going to happen, but if I get it, you guys will be, well, you'll have to be the second to know, but I guarantee you we'll hear them. All right, friends. Thank you, listeners, and have an outstanding night. And I will see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, on Jesse's POV. On that note, I'm out of here.